Well, hello all my friends on the interwebs who love miniatures. I'm Doc Eon. It's a Monday, and I'm here to ramble. It's Monday the 24th of April, 2023, and I have finished all these 7 minis. Now, that number, you might think it's a bit cheating because 5 of them are these methods, which, as you can see, are translucent minis that I simply gave a little bit of wash of color and called it done, because they are elementals, sort of semi-tangible beings. But hey, they're done, and so is this flock of chickens, also very simply painted. But I spent a bunch more time finishing up the Cloud Giantess. Now, the Cloud Giant, she has a name these days in the Reaper catalog. I saw she was recently released for general consumption, so to speak. Previously, only those of us who got us through the Bones 5 Kickstarter had her. And I could have kept working on this even longer, but I decided to simply call it a day and put it out there and see how people feel about it. The thing I worked on the longest was the skin tones, and I was unsure how much highlighting to do. I felt that the more highlights I give her muscles, the more ripped she's going to look, and that might not be the most pleasing thing. So I try to keep it relatively subtle, and still, if you look very closely at it, you'll see the blends are not perfect. This is because the highlights were made by mixing in a rather contrasting color, so the jumps in color are perhaps a bit much. I could have worked with more glazes to bring the transitions together, but again, it's not a display model. It's going to be, if anything, used on the tabletop, and I think these highlights and shades look perfectly fine at arm's distance. But in the still pics at the end, you might be able to see brush strokes and the like. But anyway, I was talking about how she has a name in the Reaper catalog these days, but I forgot it. I only saw it once. She's simply the Cloud Giantess. Now, and the skin is perhaps a stronger blue than you normally think about. I think most people who paint Cloud Giants paint them a very, 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 very pale blue, almost white blue. But I felt like the rocks and the rubble on the base are really pale, and her hair was very pale, almost white. So I decided to go for a bit of a richer color on the skin, and just to bring it all together. And I hope you like it. Hope it turned out fine. Now let's move on to works in progress. And here we have all the works in progress. And you can tell that they are actually in progress because I've started painting all of them. There's some parts of them, some bits of these miniatures are finished. Some are like half done, some are not started. It's a big variety of stuff, but it's all on the way. You can tell that I've done something to all of them, especially this one. And this will be my next big project. I'm bringing this guy to the game store tonight for the painting evening. I feel like the hair is kind of finished. There is a mole line across the top of his ponytail there, which I have not been able to remove completely. It is what it is. It's bones. You just have to live with that. And yeah, not much I can do. So there's, what is it? 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8 models in the works, and hopefully I will have some of them done by next week, like at least half, I hope, keeping my expectations low. Anyway, I have one more project in the works. Let's move on to that. So here we can see all the pieces of Odin on Sleipnir, and I have simply taken these pieces and cleaned them up, as in used a file to remove any mold lines and the like, and try to even things out, and then washed it with water and soap. And as you can see, Odin himself most of him is one piece. The arm with the spear, the shield, and the sword in the scabbard are separate. Oh, and the cloak. I've glued the metal insert base into the plastic base, otherwise I haven't glued anything yet. And I wanted to show you the main issue with this model. We have here Sleipnir, the 8-legged horse. So it's going to be sitting, these are the two halves of the body, and it's going to be standing, rearing up on this base like that. So it has 4 rather big solid pegs. I expect that's going to hold it fairly well. So, but the problem is, of course, these gaps between the two halves of the body and on the underside. This is going to need some green stuff work, especially at the neck, because the head, see, the muscle striations on the neck of the head don't exactly, if I set this what feels like the best fit for the way it's cut up, you see the lines don't match up. I would need to turn the head a little bit more like this maybe, but that creates a bigger gap, needs more gap filling. Yeah, I might, maybe if I cut away some of this mane, it'll be easier to make it fit. Anyway, like I said, a considerable amount of green stuff work is needed here, but it's well within my reach. It's within my skill set, I think. So we'll manage. Yeah, and expect to see this fully assembled and probably primed next week. And with that, let's move on to the outro. So for inventory this week, we have this box of Heresy miniatures. I've shown you some of the bigger models from them and the resin kits. These are all normal 28mm scale metal minis of various types. There's fantasy, there's sci-fi. I don't know if there's any modern day here. There's mostly humans, some, I think, halflings, and like here's a big barbarian dude with a torch. Just varied stuff. There's all kinds of stuff in here. And like I said, a big box of 27 minis. And with that, I think that's all the Heresy stuff. No, wait a minute. I think there are some other metal collections of especially sci-fi minis from Heresy that I still have not cataloged. I think. Well, we'll see. Anyway, this week also marks the arrival of a new box of stuff from Reaper. Another 18 minis. And these are mostly fighters and sort of knightly or semi-knightly types. A few of them. Like this guy. So this is because I'm starting up a campaign where we're playing Paladin, which is like Pendragon, but with Charlemagne instead of King Arthur. And everybody's going to be playing knights. But they're starting out in the sort of Dark Ages, or rather, not the Dark Ages, the I don't know what's called in English, actually. The early medieval era. In Swedish it's called the Wandering Age or something like that, because of all the supposed migrations of various Germanic tribes across Europe, causing havoc. Or rather, Charlemagne would be slightly after that. Charlemagne is the guy who's trying to bring order after that era, but kind of before the sort of real medieval age. Anyway, this is even before the Viking Age. let's not go on a historical tangent here, but we have some simple fighters like the Town Guard. What do we got here? We even have some fighting women in case someone wants to play a female knight. I'm fine with that. I'm down with some ahistorical stuff in that sense. Anyway, so this box, it's a little too much to prep for 1 week, but I'm going to get started on this. This is going to be my next project, painting all of these. It's going to take about at least 2 weeks of prep, I think, to get them all ready, and another few weeks to get them all painted. But so it's a big project, but it's going to be, I think, practically useful. So there we are. Another episode in the bag. Hope you enjoyed it. Give it a thumbs up, comment, subscribe, share, all that usual YouTube stuff. So I'll see you here in a week. Same day of the week, same channel, same .pl. But for now, I'm signing off.